Hi everyone, this is Miss Faina. Today we're going to be talking about solving one-sided multi-step equations. So go ahead and label your notes 1.8, solving one-sided multi-step equations, okay, like I have up in the top. So here we go. Example number 1. We have this equation, so first thing we need to do is draw a line through the equal sign. Okay, we see that we have some like terms on this left side, so we're going to go ahead and combine those. So if you can combine, you want to combine like terms. So 6x minus 4x is a 2x, and I bring down the 15 because the 15 does not have a like term on the same side to combine it with. Okay, then I want to move that 15 to the other side, so I do it by subtracting 15 from both sides. I'm doing the opposite. So when I do that, 15 minus 15 zeroes out, and I'm left with a 2x. On the other side, I have 39 minus 15, and that gives me a 24. From here, I know that the 2 and the x are being multiplied. Opposite of multiplication is 2. So I divide both sides by 2. When I do that, 2x divided by 2 is just a 1x, and 24 divided by 2 is 12. Okay, now we can check our work. To check our work, we're going to plug in our answer back into the equation for both of the x's. So what that looks like is we have 6 times x, so now it's a 12, plus 15 minus 4 times 12. Okay, when we type that into our calculator, if we get 39, that means we did it correctly. So we're going to switch over to the calculator. We're going to type in 6 times 12 plus 15 minus 4 times 12. So it should look just like that. That's exactly how we wrote it out. You press enter, you get 39, which means our answer works. Okay, so going back, I want you to pause the video and try to work this one out on your own. So hopefully you paused the video, and you should have started by drawing a line through the equal sign. Okay, again, you notice that you have some like terms you can combine. So when we do that, we have 56 minus 8y. And on the other side, we have a negative 24. I want to move the 56 to the other side. It's currently a positive 56, so to go to the other side, it needs to turn into a negative 56. So negative 24 minus 56 is a negative 80. 56 minus 56 zeroes out, and I'm left with a negative 8y. The negative 8 and the y are being multiplied. Opposite of multiplication is division, so I'm dividing both sides by a negative 8. Negative 80 divided by negative 8 is a positive 10. Negative 8y divided by a negative 8 is a positive 1y. And I'm left with that. So hopefully you got that question. Okay, moving on to example number 3. It looks a little different. Okay, because now instead of combining like terms, we have to use the distributive property. So again, I start by drawing a line through the equal sign. I see that I have a number next to stuff in parentheses. That means it's multiplication. So I'm going to take this 2 and I'm going to multiply it by everything inside the parentheses. So 2 times 6k is 12k. 2 times a negative 1 is a negative 2. And on the other side, I'm just left with a negative 38. From here, I want to move that 2 to the other side, so I add 2 to both sides. So negative 2 plus 2 zeroes out. I'm left with 12k. On the other side, I have negative 38 plus 2. That gives me a negative 36. Again, the 12 and the k are being multiplied, so the opposite is division. So I'm dividing both sides by 12. 12k divided by 12 is a 1k or just a k. Negative 36 divided by 12 is a negative 3. So again, we can check our work. I want to show you how to do that. So to check our work, we're going to plug in negative 3 for k. So what it would look like would be 2, open your parentheses, 6, open another set of parentheses. We're going to plug in that negative 3 for k. minus 1, and then close that last set. Okay, we should get negative 38 as our answer. So we're going to switch over to the calculator. We have 2, open parentheses, 6, open parentheses, negative 3, close, minus 1, close. And we should get a negative 38. So when I press enter, that's what we get. So it does work out. So check mark for us. So I want you to pause the video and try to work 4 on your own. So hopefully you paused it. Again, we start by drawing a line through the equal sign. Okay, I have a number next to parentheses, which means I multiply. So I'm going to take negative 4 and multiply it by 8. Gives me a negative 32. A negative 4 times a 5n gives me a negative 20n equals 8. I want to move that negative 32 to the other side. So you're always looking for the number without a variable to move first. So when I do that, I add 32 to both sides. Negative 32 plus 32 zeroes out. You drop down your negative 20 in. 8 plus 32 is 40. Okay, the negative 20 and the n are being multiplied. Opposite is division, so I divide both sides by a negative 20. Negative 20n divided by negative 20, those make a 1n. And 40 divided by negative 20 is a negative 2. Okay, looking at example 5, adding a little more to it. So, step 1, draw a line through the equal sign. Okay, from here, I see a number next to parentheses, which means I multiply. I only multiply it to the things directly in the parentheses. So I have 6 times 3, which is 18x. I have 6 times a negative 5, which is a negative 30. The negative 7x is not in the parentheses, so I just drop it down, as well as the 25 on the other side. From here, I notice that I have some like terms. I have 7x and 18x, so I'm going to combine those. 18x minus 7 is 11x minus 30 is equal to 25. From here, I want to move the 30 to the other side, so I do the opposite. So I add 30. So negative 30 plus 30 zeroes out. I'm left with 11x is equal to 25 plus 30. That gives me 55. The 11 and the x are being multiplied. Opposite of multiplication is division, so I'm going to divide both sides by 11. 11x divided by 11 makes a 1x, and 55 divided by 11 is 5. And again, we could check this. We would have to plug in negative 5 for both x's on the left side. So now I want you to pause the video and try this one on your own. So hopefully you paused the video. One thing you should have known is that I see this negative right here. So I have to understand that there's a negative 1 in front of that parentheses. Okay. So draw the line through the equal sign. Now this negative 8 or this 18x, nothing's happening to it, so we just drop it down. And now we have to distribute the negative 1 to the stuff in the parentheses. So negative 1 times 8x is a negative 8x. Negative 1 times a negative 7 is a positive 7 because two negatives make a positive, but only in math class. So we get that. Again, we combine our like terms. 18x minus 8x is a 10x. We have plus 7 equals 67. We want to move the 7 over because it doesn't have a variable, so we have minus 7 to both sides because we always do the opposite. 7 minus 7 zeroes out. We have 10x is equal to 67 minus 7. That gives us a 60. Okay, the 10 and the x are being multiplied. Opposite of multiplication is division, so I divide both sides by 10. 10x divided by 10 zeros, or makes a 1, not zeros out, it makes a 1x. And 60 divided by 10 is 6. So we get that. Okay, looking at example number 7. Again, to solve any equation, we draw a line through the equal sign. Okay, I see that I have a 7w and a -3 that's touching parentheses. That -3 needs to be distributed. Okay, but that 7w is just going to hang out for now. So we're going to take the -3 and multiply it by a 4w. We get a -12w. I take -3 and I multiply it by 8. That gives me a -24. And it equals 11. So I'm going to go ahead and combine my like terms right here. So 7w minus 12w gives me a -5w. I bring down the 24 equals 11. Okay, we want to move the 24 to the other side, so we add 24 to both sides, so plus 24. When we do that, -24 plus 24 zeroes out. I bring down the -5w. 11 plus 24 is 35. The -5 and the w are being multiplied, so the opposite is division. So I divide by the number -5 on both sides. And -5w divided by -5 makes a 1w. And 35 divided by -5 is a -7. W equals -7. Okay, so I want you to pause the video and see if you can figure this one out on your own. So hopefully you pause the video. So this would be a step that you, or in a question that you take step by step. So we're going to focus on this part first. So on this highlighted part, well, first we still need to draw a line through the equal sign. I'm really bad at remembering that, so hopefully you're better than me. Okay, so we're going to worry about the highlighted part first and distribute there. So I have 2 times 9n, which is 18n. I have 2 times a -1. That gives me a -2. That's it for that set of parentheses. Now I can focus on this second set of parentheses right here. So I'm going to do the same thing, but distribute the 7 to the stuff in parentheses. So 7 times n is 7n. 7 times 6, the positive 42, equals a -60. From here, we need to combine like terms. So I have the 18n and the 7n. That gives me 25n. Then I have a -2 plus 42, which gives me a positive 40. We set it equal to the -60. I need to move the 40 over, so I do the opposite. So I subtract 40 from both sides. 40 minus 40 zeroes out. I'm left with a 25n is equal to -60 minus 40. That gives me a -100. Okay. The 25 and the n are being multiplied, so I'm going to divide both sides by 25. Divide by 25. 25n divided by 25 makes a 1n. -100 divided by 25 is a -4. So you get -4 as your answer. And again, you can always check your work by plugging it back in. Okay, looking at this review. Okay, we do have a review. So it says, if g of x equals 3x minus 5, find g of 4. So what you need to notice is that originally it was g of x. There was an x in the parentheses, but we want to find g of 4. Notice how we changed the x to the number 4. So in this equation, I'm going to change the x to the number 4. Now, what you need to understand is that the 3 and the x are being multiplied. So when I replace that x with the number 4, I need to multiply it by that 3. So what this looks like is we have 3, but instead of x, I'm going to change it to the number 4. I put it in parentheses so I know to multiply, and I have -5. Then all we're going to do is type that in our calculator. Okay, so we have 3 times 4 minus 5. 3 times 4 minus 5. When I type that in the handy dandy calculator, I get 7. That's my answer. Equals 7. Okay, one last question. We have a multi-step question. So there's 2 ways to go about this, and I'm going to show you both ways. So first off, we can leave it written how it is. Okay, so when I do that, I draw a line through the equal sign. Okay, I want to add the 4 to both sides. Negative 4 plus 4 zeroes out. I'm left with a 1/2 x equals 14. Okay, from here, I see that the 1/2 and the x are being multiplied. Well, the opposite of multiplication is division, so I need to divide by 1/2. Divide by 1/2. Okay, 1/2 divided by 1/2 makes a 1, and I'm left with x. And in my handy dandy calculator, I'm going to type in 14 divided by 1/2. 14 divided by, get my fraction button, 1 over 2, enter, I get 28. X equals 28. That's one way to solve it. Another way to solve it is you can understand, oh no, I'm going to switch colors so you can see that we get the same thing. You can understand that 1/2 x, this right here, can also be written as x over 2. So if we rewrite it like that, you still draw a line through the equal sign. You add 4 to both sides, plus 4 plus 4. Those zero out again. We get x over 2 equals 14. Okay? And then we notice that we're dividing by 2. The opposite of division is multiplication, so I multiply both sides by 2. When I do that, the 2's make a 1x. And 14 times 2 is 28. So I just showed you 2 different ways to solve the same question. If you have any questions, please make sure you reach out to your teacher. Other than that, have a great day, Rangers.